Everyone knew this moment was coming. During The Way You Make Me Feel, Michael Jackson would pick someone from the audience, serenade them, make one person feel like the only person in the arena. He did it at every show. Always someone from the front rows. Always young, attractive, photogenic. March 7th, 1988. Wembley Arena, London, England. Michael, 29 years old, was performing the song Now, dancing across the stage. The music building to the interactive moment. 12,000 people screamed, waved, desperate to be chosen. The cameras followed his gaze as he scanned the audience, showing close-ups of women in the front rows, hoping. Then Michael's hand came up. He pointed, not to the front, not to VIP. His arm extended up, toward the upper tier. 12,000 people screamed Michael Jackson's name. Cameras followed his pointing finger, expecting to find a beautiful fan in the front row. Instead, Michael's finger aimed at the upper tier, section 214, row M, seat 19. And when the cameras finally zoomed in, nobody expected what they saw. A woman in her 40s wearing a hospital custodian uniform, frozen with one hand over her mouth, crying. The camera operators were confused. They zoomed in slowly on section 214. A woman, early 40s, Latina, wearing a blue hospital custodian uniform with a name tag, hair pulled back, no makeup, no concert outfit. She sat next to a teenage girl, clearly her daughter, who was screaming and waving, but the woman herself wasn't moving, just sitting, one hand over her mouth, tears streaming. The name tag read Maria. Michael's hand was still pointing, his voice into the mic. The woman in the blue uniform. Section 214. Yes, you. Please. Security. Can you bring her down? 12,000 people turned to look, confused, murmuring. Why is he pointing at someone in work clothes? From security's perspective, this is unprecedented. Michael has never pointed to the upper tier, never chosen someone who wasn't dressed for the occasion, but he's insistent. Section 214. The woman with the name tag. Please, bring her down, and whoever she's with. From Maria's perspective, she didn't want to come tonight. Her daughter Isabella, 16, had surprised her with tickets. Mama, you used to live in Los Angeles. You like American music. Please come. Maria had thought, I work night shift at the hospital. I should be sleeping. But Isabella had been so excited. So she'd come, straight from her shift, still in her uniform. Section 214. Upper tier. Cheap seats. All they could afford. Maria had been watching Michael perform, thinking, he was just a little boy when I knew him. And then Michael had pointed directly at her, and Maria realized, he remembers me. From Isabella's perspective, Mama, he's pointing at you. Michael Jackson is pointing at you. That's not, he can't be. He is, he said the woman in the blue uniform. Security was climbing towards section 214. Ma'am, Mr. Jackson has requested to see you. Maria couldn't speak. Isabella was grabbing her arm. Mama, how does Michael Jackson know you? It's complicated, Mija. From the crowd's perspective, a woman in a custodian uniform just came from work, not dressed for a concert, crying. This isn't the glamorous moment they expected. This is something else. 20 years earlier, September 1968, Gardner Street Elementary School, Los Angeles. Michael Jackson, 10 years old, was enrolled at Gardner Street Elementary during the early Jackson 5 years. He attended school when he wasn't recording or performing, trying to be normal. Maria Santos, 22 years old, was an elementary school custodian, immigrant from Mexico, worked to support her young daughter. Quiet, kind, noticed everything. She noticed a shy black boy who came to school tired, who flinched when teachers raised their voices, who cried in the bathroom. First interaction, October 1968. After school, Maria was cleaning the hallway, found Michael hiding in the supply closet, 10 years old, crying. Mijo, what's wrong? Why are you here so late? I'm waiting for my brothers. They're at basketball practice. Why aren't you with them? I have to practice my dance moves. I got them wrong at rehearsal. My father, he stopped. I have to get them right. Maria saw the fear in his eyes. Did your father hurt you? Michael looked down, didn't answer, which was an answer. What made Maria different? She was an adult who saw him. Not Michael Jackson, the performer, but Michael, the 10-year-old who was scared and needed someone to ask if he was okay. You can stay here, Maria said. I clean this hallway every day after school. If you need a quiet place, you can stay here. For 3 years, 1968 to 1971, the supply closet became Michael's sanctuary. Days when rehearsals had been brutal, when Joe had been violent, when Michael couldn't face going home, he'd hide in the supply closet. Maria would find him. She'd bring him cookies from the cafeteria. Sit with him. Let him cry. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to support the channel. She never asked invasive questions. Never told him to be strong. Just asked, "Are you okay today, Mijo?" And waited for the truth. October 1969, the day after the Ed Sullivan Show. The Jackson 5 had performed. They were becoming huge. The next day at school, everyone wanted Michael's autograph. Michael had hidden in the supply closet. Overwhelmed, Maria found him. Too many people? I just want to be normal, just for 1 hour. In here, you're just Michael. Always. November 1970. The conversation Michael never forgot. Maria was cleaning. Michael was doing homework. Maria, do you think it's okay to be sad? Of course, Mijo. Everyone gets sad. My father says I'm not allowed to be sad. I'm supposed to perform, make people happy. Maria stopped cleaning, looked at him. Your father is wrong. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. Being sad doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But what if I can't stop being sad? Then you find people who let you be sad, who don't need you perform. March 1971, the last time they saw each other. The Jackson 5 had gotten too big. Michael was being privately tutored. No more public school. Michael came to Gardner Street one last time to say goodbye. He found Maria cleaning the cafeteria. I'm not coming back to school. We're touring full-time now. Maria hugged him. I'm proud of you, Mijo, but promise me something. What? Promise me you'll find people who let you be just Michael. Not Michael Jackson. Just Michael. I promise. Michael left, became the biggest star in the world, and never saw Maria Santos again. What Michael never knew, Maria never forgot him either. 1971 to 1973. Maria continued working at Gardner Street, but she thought about Michael, saw him on TV, performing, famous. Maria's husband died. Car accident. She was 28. Her daughter Isabella was 2. Maria was devastated, alone, struggling. Maria made a decision, emigrate to England. Her sister lived in London, offered to help with childcare. Maria could start over. She took a job as a hospital custodian, night shift, cleaning operating rooms. 1975 to 1988. Maria built a quiet life in London, worked nights, raised Isabella alone, never remarried. She saw Michael on TV, watched Thriller become the biggest album ever, felt proud. Isabella grew up hearing stories. Mama, why do you cry when Michael Jackson comes on the radio? Because I knew him when he was a little boy, before he was famous. Really? Really? He used to hide in the supply closet at my school, and I would bring him cookies. Isabella had thought her mother was exaggerating. March 1988. Bad World Tour announced. Wembley Arena dates. Isabella saved money from her part-time job. Mama, I bought us tickets. You have to come. Mija, I work night shift. You can miss one shift. Please. March 7th, 1988. Maria came straight from her hospital shift, still in her uniform. No time to change. Section 214, row M, seat 19. She'd thought, he'll never know I'm here. 12,000 people. Why would he notice one custodian in the cheap seats? Now, March 7th, 1988, Maria sat in section 214, wearing her hospital uniform, and Michael Jackson had just pointed directly at her. The music was still playing, but Michael had stopped singing. He was standing at the edge of the stage, pointing, waiting. The crowd was murmuring. This isn't how this moment usually goes. Michael, into the mic. I need to stop for a moment. The woman I just pointed to, her name is Maria. She was my elementary school janitor when I was 10 years old. She was the only adult in my childhood who let me be sad, who told me I was allowed to cry. 12,000 people went completely silent. I haven't seen her in 17 years. I thought I'd lost her, but she's here, and I need to bring her down. Please. Security reached section 214. Ma'am, Mr. Jackson has requested to see you, and your daughter. Maria, voice shaking. Yes. See. Yes. Isabella was holding her mother's hand. Mama, you weren't exaggerating. You really knew him. I really knew him, Mija. They were escorted through the crowd. 12,000 people applauding. Not performative screaming. Genuine applause for a custodian in a work uniform who saved a child 20 years ago. Michael watched from the stage. Didn't continue performing. Just waited. When Maria reached the barrier, Michael walked down. Got on his knees at the edge of the stage. Maria, Miguel, what she always called him. You came. I didn't know you'd see me. How could I not? You're the woman who saved my life. 12,000 people were crying now. 10:52 p.m. Michael's dressing room. 35 minutes later. Maria Santos stood with Isabella, still wearing her hospital uniform, facing Michael for the first time in 17 years. Maria, Michael said, like he couldn't believe she was real. Miguel, look at you. You're all grown up. I'm 29, not so little anymore. To me, you're still the 10-year-old hiding in the supply closet. Michael to Isabella. You're Maria's daughter? Yes, sir. I'm Isabella. She raised you well. I can tell. Maria, quietly. You remembered me. How could I forget? You were the only adult who asked if I was okay and waited for the truth. You were just a child, a scared child. Someone had to notice. But no one else did. My teachers didn't. My family didn't. You did. Why did you leave Los Angeles? I went back to Gardner Street in 1975. They said you'd moved. Maria's face, pain. My husband died. 1974. Car accident. I had Isabella to raise alone. My sister was in London. She offered to help. I'm so sorry. It was a long time ago. You've been in London for 14 years? Working as a custodian. Hospital custodian. Night shift. It pays better. I clean operating rooms. Michael sat. You're still taking care of people. It's what I do. Maria sat beside him. Miguel, can I tell you something? Of course. When I first found you in that supply closet, cry because your father had hurt you, I wanted to call the authorities. Report him. But I knew if I did, they'd take you away. And you'd lose everything. So you didn't report it. So I didn't report it. Instead, I tried to give you what I could. A safe place. Cookies. Someone who would listen. It wasn't enough. It was everything. Was it? Because I've spent 17 years wondering if I did the right thing. You did save me, not by taking me away from my father, but by showing me that adults could be kind, that I was allowed to be sad, that I was worth something. But you still suffered. Yes, but I survived. And part of how I survived was remembering you, remembering that supply closet. Maria, crying, I've followed your career, seen you become the biggest star in the world. And I've always wondered, does he remember? Or has he become so big that those memories disappeared? I remember everything. Every cookie. Every conversation. Every time you said you're allowed to be sad. Me, Joe. I remember all of it. Michael stood. Maria, you're working night shift as a hospital custodian. You're raising Isabella alone. You came to my concert in your work uniform because you didn't have time to change. Yes. That's not right. What do you mean? You saved me when I was 10. You showed me kindness when no one else did. And now you're working night shifts cleaning hospitals. It's honest work. It's honest work, but you deserve better. Let me help you. Miguel, I don't need. Please, let me do this. Let me give you what you gave me. Safety, security, a chance to rest. Maria, uncomfortable, I don't want charity. It's not charity. It's gratitude. It's 17 years of thank you. Come to Los Angeles. I'll set you up with a place. A job if you want one. I'll make sure Isabella can go to college. I'll make sure you're taken care of. I can't just leave London. Why not? What's keeping you here? Maria thought, my sister, my job, my life. Your sister can visit. Your job will understand. And your life. Don't you deserve more than night shifts and struggling? Isabella quietly, Mama, maybe you should consider it. Maria looked at her daughter. Mija, you've worked so hard for so long. Maybe it's time someone gave something back to you. April 1988. Maria and Isabella moved to Los Angeles. Michael set them up in a small house. Paid for everything. No strings attached. Maria took a part-time job at a community center, teaching immigrant kids English. Work she loved. Isabella got a full scholarship to UCLA. Studied social work. Became the kind of person who notices hurting kids. 1988 to 2000, Maria became part of Michael's inner circle. Not publicly, but privately. She came to Neverland. Sat with him when he was struggling. Still asked, are you okay, Mijo? She was the one person who knew him before fame. Maria got sick. Cancer. The doctors said maybe a year. Michael was there. Every appointment. Every treatment. You don't have to do this, Maria said. Yes, I do. You were there for me. Now I'm here for you. Maria Santos died peacefully. Michael was there. So was Isabella. Her last words, you turn out good, Mijo. Better than good. I'm proud of you. March 7, 1988. 11:30 p.m. Wembley Arena. Michael returned after a 73-minute absence. 12,000 people gave him a standing ovation. I'm sorry for the delay, Michael said. Tonight, I pointed to someone in the audience. Someone in a hospital custodian uniform in the cheap seats. And a lot of you were confused. Why her? The crowd was silent. Because 20 years ago, when I was 10 and my father was hurting me, that woman found me hiding in a supply closet. And instead of ignoring me, she asked, are you okay? And she waited for the truth. She gave me cookies. She let me cry. She told me I was allowed to be sad. She was the only adult in my childhood who loved me without needing me to perform. And tonight, 20 years later, she was here, in her work uniform, in the cheap seats. He looked toward the wings where Maria and Isabella watched. This is for Maria, for seeing a hurting child, for asking, are you okay? For saving my life. He performed Human Nature. But this time it wasn't about romance. It was about the humans who saved children. Years later, Michael kept Maria's Gardner Street Elementary custodian ID badge in a frame. Below it, in his handwriting, you found me hiding in a supply closet when I was 10. You asked if I was okay and waited for the truth. You saved me. And 20 years later, I pointed to you in a crowd of 12,000 because of people who loved you when you had nothing deserved to share in what you became. Miguel, Michael Jackson pointed into the audience. Nobody expected who he meant. Not a beautiful fan in the front row. Not a celebrity in VIP. But a woman in her 40s wearing a hospital custodian uniform, sitting in the cheap seats. The woman who'd found him hiding in a supply closet when he was 10. The woman who'd asked, are you okay? And waited for the truth. The woman who'd shown him that adults could be kind. And 20 years later, in front of 12,000 people, Michael Jackson pointed to her and said, you saved me. Because the people who loved you when you were powerless deserve to be honored when you have power. Maria Santos was that person. And Michael never forgot. If you like this story, please subscribe to support this channel.